Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So, I have built many AI voice agent platform on this channel using Python, using Blind AI, and I went through a breakdown of different AI voice agent platform on this channel. So, today I will be presenting you a new platform, Retell AI. We went through it in the last video, and I will be just going through everything you need to know about the Retell AI and why you can actually use it to build a voice AI platform without coding. And then in the second part of this video, I will show you how to integrate the API into your own application and get the best out of this platform. So let's get started. So as usual, when you log in into Retell, you first have to go to the website, create an account and everything. But when you log in, you see this, okay, you see this dashboard here with all these items here. You have the workspace here. You can add a new workspace. It will be a completely different app. So if you have different customers, maybe you're an agency, you can create each workspace for each customer. So here, for example, I have the default workspace. And here you'll have all these items on the left, and you will have at the bottom here some other settings. So if you come to workspace, for example, here you have the name of your workspace. You can change it here. You have the members. You can actually invite some new members to your workspace here, so you can collaborate and work on things, maybe testing. You can invite maybe someone that's just there to test the voices and make sure the voices are actually good, right? So with that said, go back here. We'll go through all these items one by one. So let's first start by presenting here the agent tab. So here, for example, you have two sample agents that I've created, but to create an agent, you have to come here. You have different way of creating an agent into Retell AI. You either have the conversational flow, the single prompt agent, the multi-prompt agent, and the custom LLM agent. So for the custom LLM agent, you need to have a link to your LLM. But in this case, I don't really have that. So I will not be going through it. So this is when you have maybe your LLM hosted somewhere else, then on this platform, then GPT-4, maybe you want a fine-tuned version of GPT, or you want a model that's hosted on Replicate or something like that. You can post a custom URL LLM links here. So with that said, let's go back and come here to conversational flow. So for conversational flow, we'll just pick one here, we'll state list qualification, for example. I will just show you what it is, and how you can use it for your own use case. So for example, here, you'll see that you have a beginning node, you have greetings, you have confirm, you have collect info, you have everything. So this is quite interesting just because it can help you structure the conversations, right? So here, for example, you have hey, first name and everything, just like the grading the customer. And then when the user replies, you go directly to the next one. So this is like a base template, right? So maybe the user will ask something and you will go to the reply directly. It doesn't really catch all the use cases, but you can actually do that. You can click add a new one here and be like, when a user asks a specific question. And then here you can create a new node, a new conversation node, and link it to that specific use case, right? So it helps you actually structure your conversation and make it a bit more predictable in terms of what the AI will do and where it will go, which is pretty interesting in this case, because when you have a single prompt agent, you're sometimes it just go off script and do things that you didn't predict, right? So for here, you have a predictable way of going through that, but sometimes it fails as well, but you really need to test it. You have testing platform for voice AI agents. You really need to test it and test a lot of different workflows to make sure all of your workflow are actually working before deploying it to production. Okay, so as I mentioned, here's the beginning node. So the beginning node is where it all starts, and then you have the node itself, and when you click on the node, you have the setting of the node here. You can say it's a global node. And what's a global node here? A global node is a node that can be called without any entry point. For example, handle no interest here. So anywhere in between the calls, if the person said, don't mind, just I don't want to do it anymore, you will come back to these global nodes and say something and then end the call. It can be objection handling. It can be a patient being really hungry and you want to transfer this patient to, I don't know, to a real human. So you can create global nodes for things like that. Okay. So you have some settings here like skip a response. If you want to skip the response, so you just directly go to the next node. You have the global node, as I mentioned, you have the different LLM, the block interruption, the fine-tuning examples, and this is pretty interesting. Just in case for your specific node, you may have use cases where you need to fine-tune the single node to make sure it understands what you're trying to do. For example, maybe you have to choose, a user has to choose between different topics or different things, and you want to make sure that the range of from where the user can say things are still handled into the small set of things that you want to choose. For example, let's say the user want either to buy a new house or sell his house. So the user can say things like, I'm trying to make money from my house, for example, and you can fine tune this to make sure that this end into buy a new or sell my house, for example. Okay, so that's the fine tuning example, which is pretty interesting here. You after that you have functions node. Okay, the functions node is where you actually execute functions. So here, for example, you will see it here is to check availability. What's interesting with Retell is that you have pre-made functions here. For example, book appointment, check availability, so you don't have to code them yourself. So you can just connect your car.com and connect your app to the car.com, and you will go to your calendar and check availability and book appointments directly. Okay, so here you have this function node, and this function node, you can actually have a custom one if you have a custom workflow, for example. So you just come here, you add your name, you have the URL, and you have the timeout, and it will call this webhook URL whenever this action is called. So you can get the response, and you continue your conversation flow with that response. Okay, so you also have the call transfer, as I mentioned. So for example, let's say we create a node here for Henry customers. So the first thing is to make it global node. We say, when does this happen? We describe it here, when the customer is hungry, sorry. Yeah, so here you will say something like, say, sorry. It should be more complex than that, of course. You just say sorry and transfer. And for transferring, you click on the call transfer here. You connect this node to this node here, and you come here. You can put some information about the transfer. The warm transfer is just for you to put like a summary to the next agent that will pick up the call. Then the call transfer is just to directly transfer it there without any information. So with that said, you have a pretty powerful platform here to build AI agents in a structured way. I think many of these platforms are actually adding something pretty similar with Vapi adding workflow. I think Blind AI have conversational pathways. So almost all the AI voice agent platform are adding the same functionality so far. So here you're not missing something if you're trying only Retell. So after that, we have the simple prompt agent. So like single prompt agent, you can create from, let's say, from this healthcare checking. Here you will have a pricing based on the voice agent and the AI LLM that you will be choosing. So for example, here you can choose mini. You can choose this, not this mini. This mini is far cheaper than the 4.0, but it's not good as well. Okay, not the real-time. Real-time model are actually pretty bad. So here you can choose the voices from LLM Lab, Play IT, or OpenAI. I think LLM Lab are better. You can add custom voices here. So if you find any voice, any ID, you can just search it here and say, okay, yes, so you can add a custom voice here. You look at the ID, you search for it here, and you will find it here. You can add it to the platform, okay? So this is how you add custom voices that you find directly on the LLM Lab platform. And yes, you'll get it here, Healthy Ray. Okay, so something pretty interesting with VAP is also that if you have a really long prompt, it doesn't really affect the price compared with Retell. Sorry, it's actually if you have a really long prompt, it will not affect the price compared to VAP. I think it's capped at 8,000. Yeah, 8,000 tokens. But normally, when you go far and you get 8,000 tokens, it will not affect your prompt, your price at the end. And yeah, and in terms of languages, you have many languages here. I think English, French, German, and Spanish are good, but the rest is a bit more complex. But in any case, yeah, you have these functionalities here. So if you want to see the price, you just come at the top here, you'll see the price that you have. If you choose to add the knowledge base, it will add up to your price. We'll talk about it later. You have the functions. I think we talked about the function, the transfer call, the end call, the check appointment. You can find these functions here. The speech settings. Here you can have a large amount of background noise. So when the AI agent is talking, you have a background noise. It can be a coffee shop, static noise, call center, or whatever, which makes it a bit more natural. Okay, so with that said, you have responsiveness, interruption sensitivity, posted keywords, disabled transcript formatting, and pronunciations when you want to fine-tune how some word is pronounced. You can write them there and write the phoneme, I think the pronunciation of it. And this is mainly made for maybe companies' name that are pretty weird. I don't know, like I don't know, you live, you want to call it like you leave or something like that, you have to specifically put the pronunciation here. Okay, what about the call setting? So end call on silence when it went through like 10 minutes. So after 10 minutes, it can just end the call. That's a lot. Normally you should have it as low as possible. Okay, as low as possible, so people not drain your credit. So let's say it's 10 minutes and each 10 minutes it will stop the call. If someone call and say nothing, it will burn at least $1 from your account for 10 minutes. So you need to keep this as low as possible, but not keep it too low because it will just cutting the call whenever you have a 3-second delay. So yeah. So the max call duration here is 1 hour. So when the call reach 1 hour, you have to cut it. It's the same. So if you want to protect your agent from people just hacking and burning your credit, you need to put this maybe at, I don't know, 20 minutes. Because if someone can just call and just make an AI call, talk to your AI, and they will be talking over and over again, yeah, it will be burning your credit. And if you put the max call duration to 1 hour or 2 hours, for example, you'll have 2 hours of call, which is like 120 minutes, which is a lot in terms of per cost. So they can just burn all your credits that way. So you have to keep it low as well, depending on your use case, but you want to keep it low. Okay, so now the post-call analysis here is for you to get a bit more info from your call. It can be extracting data. It can be getting some specific informations. So you do it here. The security setting. Yeah, so for example, here you can click to say, okay, if you have some sensitive data there, just don't keep it. Okay, this is for privacy reasons. Same for the fallback voice ID. So for example, if your provider broke one of these voices, you need to give like a fallback voice ID that will be always available. So yes, and then the webhook setting, here you can have a URL where all of your webhook event will be going after the call. And yeah, so now you have the test tab. Normally you get it for each of these tabs. When you have the workflow tab, you will get it at the top, somewhere at the top. You click on test to see it. But here's how you test your agents. But remind that whenever you test it, it will be burning your credit as well. So even if it is web or whatever, it will be burning your credit. But if you want to test it for free, you have to go through the test LLM here and just talk to your agents that way, like hello, and see how it responds. But the best way to test is actually with the voice and with the interaction to make sure everything's good, because pronunciation are pretty important. So for example, let's say your agent needs to gather people's names, and if you test with test LLM, it will be pretty simple to just say, oh, my name is Joe. But when you speak, the AI will get it wrong a lot of time, and you need to fine tune that and change it, make it better. So the bestest part here is testing with the audio. Okay, so with that said, I think we went through the agents. You can create a multi-prompt agent as well. You can create a, I think we went through almost everything. So this is something like having to, it's like squad in the VAPI. So for example, you have here the intro agent that will just say, hey, everything is good, and maybe get some information from knowledge base to answer some questions. But now you have the maybe appointment booking block, which is like a big block, a big prompt block to do things. So this is like the squad functionality in VAPI, but specifically made for retail. Okay, with that said, let's go to knowledge base. The knowledge base functionality here is really interesting. So you can just put, like, let's say website data, and you can add a lot of documents, text, maybe just by putting a field, something like that, or add a website. It will crawl your website and get all the content from your website and feed it to the knowledge base, which is pretty interesting. So I can just say, as usual, utilize.ai and save it. It will crawl my pages. I think it's not taking everything because I have like 7,000 pages, but it will crawl and give, I think maximum you have 300 pages. So you can import 300 pages into your knowledge base, and it will answer questions using this knowledge base directly. So that's quite interesting as well. So you don't have to build something on top of your knowledge of your platform to have complex functionality like crawling website and getting data. And on VAPI, unfortunately, you have to do that yourself, and you have the possibility to do it with code, but it will take more time and energy. Okay, so here we have the phone number. Unfortunately for you here, the only way to buy a phone number is just to buy directly through them, and or connect to your number via SIP trunking. So you don't have a direct way of using Tutor API or Phonage or something like that, which is unfortunate, but you can just buy it for a phone number for $2 per month. You just put your area code. Some area code are not supported. I think California is not supported here, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. No. It's not supported, but I don't have a payment card here anyway. But yeah, it's just $2 per month, and you get a phone number, and you can directly connect this phone number to one of your agents, and the agent can actually call, and you can call, or the agents can call and directly connect to your agent that you created in there. Okay, so same for batch calls. So batch calls actually a process for you to upload a lot of, like, a list of a lot of people and just make the AI call them directly, like all of them. And just for the record, I think you have 20 concurrent calls when you put your payment details. Of course, you have 20 concurrent calls on retail, so you can call 20 people at the same time, which is pretty interesting to scale. And I think for the enterprise level, you can go far beyond that, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, you have this batch call. Maybe you have a real estate lead list and you want to call everyone at the same time. You can use this batch call functionality here. Call history is just where you have all your calls, like all the calls that been going through the platform. The billing is just for the billing, of course. You can add the payment billing here. Will drive you to Stripe to put your credit card informations. You have the API keys. If you want to integrate this into your app, I think you have a documentation somewhere, if I'm not wrong, here, and you go to the API reference, and you have all your API reference here to integrate this into a custom app using Python, JavaScript, or whatever you want. I think they have SDK for many of these languages. So here you need your API key, of course. So you can see it here, your Retell API key, and this Retell API key, you get it here. You can add a new one, and yeah. Anyway, you have webhook here. It will send you real-time events of everything happening into your workspace. So that's pretty cool as well. Okay, so I think that was a pretty long video. With that said, I think we went through almost everything in 20 minutes concerning Retell. You have much more things you can do with it, maybe via coding or maybe via just branching things. But yeah, I think I went through everything that's basic. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one. Peace.